everyone, it's me, Juan Gamer 54, back in the video. Today, we are going to be reacting to Game Theory and their take on the Poppy Playtime Chapter 5 teaser. Now, we actually did a reaction to the Chapter 5 teaser. I even made my little theories on it. I'm going to leave that. I'm pretty sure you'll be seeing in the IR card. And if it doesn't show up, then it will definitely be at the end of the video. But you know what? We're just going to see what they think because, we need to get the ball rolling about what's going to happen in Chapter 5 since it's the penultimate. So sit back, relax. We're just going to enjoy. Let's do this.
Poppy's Chapter 5 teaser is here. And the mysteries it holds for the upcoming chapter can all be solved thanks to one thing. Fortnite?
Oh, no.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Game Theory, the show that is determined to uncover the secret of the ooze. Not the Ninja Turtle kind, mind you, the Playtime kind. Because after a lot of radio silence, we've got on our first glimpse for Poppy Playtime Chapter 5.
Bet.
At the end of Chapter 4, we were abandoned by Poppy. We got split up from Kissy Missy, and we ended up locked inside the lab, surrounded by poppy flowers and a broken, yet still terrifying, Huggy Wuggy. We've been told
who really wants to get its get back on us.
The big bad of Poppy Playtime. So naturally, the hype for this next chapter has been real. And
oh, come on!
This teaser did not disappoint. The teaser
did you really have to give Poppy the, the K-pop demon hunter face? I've been seeing that face for a while now. I want to know, is K-pop demon hunter really that great? Like, I've been hearing a lot of people going crazy about it, and especially with the music going around. Like, is it good? I might actually have to go and check and see because I know Game Theory. I know Film Theory made a video on it, but keep going.
More shots of these anticipated labs. There are cute drawings of characters on the walls, and the equipment is brightly colored. It almost looks like a children's hospital, which I guarantee you is more for appearances than to actually reflect the horrors that go on here. Because we quickly start
thanks,
to see what
Playtime
look
Co.
like surgical rooms filled with old dried blood, a mysterious bubbling goo covering the floors, and a cutout of Poppy burning as this mysterious goo spreads across the walls. I've gotta hand it to Mob. They nailed the creepy, unsettling vibes for these teasers.
Yeah.
And of course, this one is full to the beaker brim with that stuff we crave.
Lore.
Which I believe not only gives us insight into the foundations of Playtime Co.'s whole experimental process, but also might be warning us about a surprise return from a villain you wouldn't expect. So,
a villain?
Lab coats or some of our new Poppy Playtime merch.
Oh, come on.
Store, link in the description, because we've got to head to the lab.
You can't just hit me with shameless.
Into this Poppy Playtime Chapter 5 teaser. As I've mentioned, this facility looks more like a children's hospital than a lab. A lab is typically somewhere where scientific experiments are done. Sadly, however, as we've talked about many times before, for Playtime Co., children's hospital and scientific experiments go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Over the previous chapters, we've learned that the orphans that come into Playtime Co.'s care are tested in the game station, tortured using the nightmare red smoke in the play care, and eventually taken away to be turned into the living toys we've encountered throughout the facility. On the operating table in one of the scenes, we can see two Huggy Wuggy mittens strewn across the lab, surrounded by blood and surgical equipment, proving that this lab is absolutely where these transformations happen. Where Harley Sawyer, the mad doctor who came up with the idea for the Bigger Bodies Initiative, did his finest work.
I hate Dr. Sawyer just as much as I hate William Afton. I would give this man the 1-2 if I given the chance, man.
Is that we were told in Chapter 4 that this is where the prototype is keeping the orphans who survived the mass extinction event known as the Hour of Joy.
The orphans
I'm still trying to wrap my head around that.
In the labs, the prototype's home.
Fortunately, it doesn't look like these surgeries happened recently. The blood on the floor looks old, dry, and faded. Much like the blood we've seen in previous chapters from employees killed during the Hour of Joy in 1995. Plus, we know that the prototype didn't allow Harley access to this part of the facility once the Bigger Bodies took over.
That will give me labs access.
That is out of the question.
Fine.
So it's not like he could continue experimenting on the kids even if he wanted to. But
I'm not gonna lie, I know it's a little too early on the video, but I will give the prototype a small applause. Good job. You don't give Harley Sawyer what he wants. But that still doesn't excuse the fact that you got the kids down
While
there.
the prototype seems like it's trying to protect the orphans, that doesn't mean there isn't any experimentation going on. After we get shots of the surgical rooms, we are shown a room with the prototype's shadow creeping past in the hallway. But that isn't where the camera's focus is. The camera is instead
Yeah, this
drawing
goo
our eyes
thing.
to bright pink and orange bubbling goo that covers parts of the floor. Much like the gas mask in Chapter 3's teaser, this being emphasized shows us that this is going to be important to this part of the story. So, what is it? Well, just like with Chapter 3's teaser, I don't think it's wild to assume that this has something to do with poppies. They are basically the MacGuffins of this series, and have always been part of the scientific process for Playtime Co. All the way back in Chapter 2, we got this note on Elliot's desk about Experiment 814, where they were trying to revive rats by submerging them in poppy gel and then sending a current through it. This was where my brain immediately went when I saw the bubbling goop on the floor. That this is the poppy gel that we read about all those years ago. Obviously, that gel did...
I ain't gonna lie to you. During my reaction to it, to the Chapter 5 teaser, I completely forgot about the poppy gel. Again, I've talked about it in that, so again, iCard. If not, I'll leave a link in the description box below. But yeah, I did not think for a moment about the poppy gel.
Work. Experiment 814 is considered a failure, but the writer, most likely Harley Sawyer, believed it would be possible with larger subjects. We then never hear about this gel again, so it is entirely possible that Harley
so that's why
right,
it
and
didn't
that this
get
gel
talked more.
derived from poppies did work to revive its subjects once they switched over to children, and that is therefore the gel that we are seeing on the floor here. However, something definitely feels different about it. Originally, the subject was just put into the gel, as in around the outside of them. It was more of a conductor with electricity being sent through the gel to try and bring the subject back to life, with some help from the poppy flower, of course. But now, it seems more active, bubbling on its own, which is never a good sign, and in the final scene, as well as in the thumbnail,
I always felt like
itself, the gel seems to have these vein-like structures coming out of it, almost like it's a living thing.
Ooh, yeah. Because after I got done, I know I'm pausing so much, and I know I'm bringing up to the video I reacted to. I'm sorry, but this is the last time, okay? No more pointing on that video, okay? I promise. The lips are sealed. But after I was done recording that video, I legitimately had to look back, and then it really think to me, bro, why did I call it malted? Like malted substance? Because yeah, I mean, it's bubbling like it would, like something on the floor, and it's very heating. It's leaving debris everywhere. You can see it, but it has this veiny, almost like, I don't know, something like you see outside, like a network. I don't know, like a network. I mean, look at those outer rims, and you tell me that doesn't remind you about those mushroom fungus type of thing. But hey, maybe
this is how they created the physical biology for the bigger bodies. While they used some human parts, as we've seen in previous notes, a child isn't going to have enough muscles or organ material to stretch over something as tall as Huggy Wuggy. But that's entirely speculation. We have no way of really knowing exactly what this gel is. Or that's what I thought, until I found out that there is very important poppy lore pertaining to exactly this in the most unlikely of places. Fortnite.
Oh,
Yes,
no.
You heard me right. Fortnite, a free-to-play battle royale, has poppy playtime lore. In October, Fortnite held their Fortnite event, and that name is almost as confusing as the poppy playtime line. But as part of a preview, the week before the event, Mob Entertainment released a map called Poppy Playtime Escape Trials, which included Huggy Wuggy and the ruined critters as enemies to avoid. It's pretty straightforward in that regard. However, hidden throughout the map were Poppy Playtime's iconic notes and VHS tapes. At first, I thought this was just going to be stuff we already knew, repeats of notes and VHS tapes from previous chapters.
Please
just
don't do
trying
it.
to get new fans
Don't
hooked
do
and
it.
caught up. But oh Boy, was I wrong. These notes cover so much new stuff.
Ah.
Way too big for a random collab. For example, they just casually revealed Poppy's real name. Yeah.
No.
When she was a human before she died tragically in the
Never.
1960s and was turned into a toy by her father, Elliot Ludwig. Guys, we've been over this. Putting lore in a spin-off game is one thing. Expecting audiences to solve complex ARGs to keep up with the story is another. But this? There are so many people who just won't know about this stuff simply because they don't want to play Fortnite. You're an
Yes,
indie horror
that's-
game. Battle Royales and indie horror games don't always have the best crossover audience. What's next? Does your Minecraft collab have crucial lore? Oh, please don't tell me your Minecraft collab has crucial lore. Anyway, there's...
So great. So great. That's fantastic. So now there's lore in Fortnite, and best believe we need to make sure. Bro, I'm not gonna lie. Looks like I'm gonna have to boot up Fortnite after this. I might have to boot up Fortnite and see what I have to find. Hopefully it's still there, and if not, then it's GG's for me. Anyways.
A note you can find that is a diary entry from her, telling us she's 11 in March of 1960, and she even signs her name. And that name is, drumroll please, Poppy. Yep,
Really?
It's just the same name. I guess even the most creative minds have their off days. However, that isn't the note I wanted to focus on. Instead, I wanted to draw your attention to this document from Eddie Ritterman, the head of research, that was sent to Leith Pierre and Harley Sawyer, other executives at the company. Quote,
Okay.
Poppy seed isolate, strain N12 times 100, organized fertilizer, synthetic amnio, 18 drums. As always, we made sure to source materials for the growth medium from our carefully selected vendors. No issues to note. I believe these amounts should suffice for our initial steps. Okay, a lot to unpack.
All right.
Like, what the heck is organized fertilizer? Did they mean organic? Or is this some kind of fertilizer that's able to arrange itself? Fertilizers, get in line. Single file. You, head over to Sector C, Quadrant 12, now, or it's the compost pile for you.
Dang.
I'm kidding, of course. The main thing that actually stood out to me was that these materials are being sourced for a so-called growth medium. So, not only was I right about this definitely being poppy related, with poppy seeds being one of the 3 ingredients, but it also seems like we were on the right track with the idea that this goop is in fact used to grow something as part of their experiments. So great, theorist instincts for the win. But as this franchise loves to do, we can go a level deeper. No, editor, I said deeper, not higher.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're past the ad, so we're now here. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I can't play pretend no more. I can't really play pretend with you guys. So, I have been knowing about it. I do know about the whole, Poppy Playtime and Fortnite collab. And I was thinking about doing a video on it, but I was a little locked up with a bunch of projects that I was working on. Projects that I hope I can get out by year's end. Hopefully around end November to early December. And I'm not gonna lie, I did play Fortnite. I did test around in the escape trials. And I've been working on, compiling the notes together. It's just, I'm still trying to, I'm in the middle of finalizing the video, but if Game Theory is gonna tell everything, then I'm not sure, man. You know what? No, we're gonna see how much it talks, and then I'm going to see if, I'm still gonna release the video. But yeah, dang, man, I thought I was finally gonna get the leg up. I was working hard, like I literally was playing so long on that escape trials because I was trash in Fortnite. I genuinely thought like I was going to finally get something, but nope. It's fine. I'm fine.
See, there's one other ingredient on that list. Synthetic amnio. Amnio is shorthand for the term amniocentesis, a procedure that involves taking a small sample of amniotic fluid for testing purposes. However, given the term is preceded by the word synthetic, and they're ordering 55 gallons of the stuff, I have a feeling that they aren't referring to the procedure, but the amniotic fluid itself. Amniotic fluid acts as both a protective cushion for fetuses growing inside the womb, but also helps deliver nutrients, water, and biochemical products to the fetus, which is interesting to bring up given a huge part of my previous theory was about the study of embryology. Embryology is the science of studying embryos, sex cells, and fertilization, and how you can alter their development and evolution through external factors. And we learnt about that from a document that we found in Harley Sawyer's possession during his time in the Young Geniuses program, a program run by Elliot Ludwig many decades ago to help continue the push for scientific advancement. So I theorized that this was how Elliot, and therefore Harley, at least in part, were creating these living toys like Poppy, altering embryos that would grow into whatever toy body they were given. But not only is amniotic fluid connected directly to the idea that embryos are being used, it would also imply I was right about that last bit. Want to know a fun fact about amniotic fluid? The fetus doesn't just swim around in it, it ingests it, and doing so helps form things like the gastrointestinal tract. Now, what particular part of these living toys keeps coming up? Oh yeah,
their insides.
Tract. In the original Poppy trailer, we were told that the prototype has a digestive tract like all the others, it just didn't need to use it. Ever since then, we've been reminded again and again that these toys are hungry.
My stomach, it hurts. Mine too. When's the last time you ate?
And given this fluid is
poor guys.
Synthetic, it means it's man-made.
Poor Dog Day. I mean, I feel a little sympathetic with the little catnap, but then I remember who I was dealing with last chapter, so yeah.
Therefore, able to be modified to do so much more than just the digestive tract. That's why it's being shown with these vein-like structures going off of it. It's literally helping to grow these structures inside the toy bodies. It is a growth medium on a whole new level. But that wasn't the only big thing from this teaser. There's one very crucial detail that I've yet to mention that I'm sure everyone has been screaming at to talk about. The flash frame right before the title card.
Yes, this one.
See a glitchy message that reads, quote, "A needle pulls a thread. The body writhes on the table. Is this it? Is this life?" Footsteps echo off the manor floors. What do I do now? Where do I belong? The eyes glued to the screen. Transformation and rebirth. You think you know what he wants. You don't know anything.
Alright, let's see what take you guys have.
This is clearly talking about Poppy. Her body was writhing on the operating table as she was transformed or reborn as a toy. The writer questions whether this can truly even be considered life, which would make sense for someone who's literally just seen a person reanimate as a toy. Even if you were a trained scientist, this would be unlike...
Yeah, this would break the laws of physics.
We theorized that Elliot may have used young scientists from the Young Geniuses program to help in Poppy's creation, which this would then align with. You then have the references to footsteps echoing off the manor floor. The only kind of manor we've seen or encountered, really, is where we originally found Poppy, which the survival logbook tells us is the replica of Elliot Ludwig's home.
I was about to say, yeah, that, chapter 3.
Chapter 3. But we are hallucinating hard at this point, hearing radio broadcasts about a dead body being found on the premises of the late creator. So, it also tells us that experiments were being done at his manor, or at least the first one was the one to save his daughter. It's her footsteps that are echoing through the manor floors, unsure of who she is and, quote, where she belongs. Plus, you know, there's also the giant empty Poppy mask behind the text, with the scene originally being the Poppy cutout bursting into flames.
And the screams, don't forget the screams.
And her unique transformation. The first transformation. However, I want you to take a look at that last bit. You think you know what he wants. You don't know anything. Not yet. If this is from the perspective of one of the Young Geniuses, or even just a scientist working in the manor on Poppy's transformation, this he would then likely be implied to be Elliot Ludwig himself. He was the man in charge and was the one that wanted to push science into the future. But if that's the case, then this line could also be assigned to our big bad, the prototype. The prototype has a huge amount of knowledge about Poppy and seems to have some connection to her that goes beyond just being another toy. Which led me and many others to believe that the prototype isn't just another experiment that Elliot Ludwig now
Yes, it has to be, man. Like, I've been seeing a lot of people saying, man, this theory's trash. No, it's not. It's literally now over there. Like, literally, it has to be. No other person can fit that description. Okay? Unless you want to tell me that my boy, Rich, has become the prototype, I don't want to hear it. Elliot Ludwig is indeed the prototype. It has to be him. Okay? It's clear. There's a connection.
Into a toy. I actually propose that it might be be a clone of Elliot due to some timeline shenanigans, but that doesn't really matter right now. What
Ha.
matters is that this line about not knowing what he wants does ring very true for the prototype, especially amongst the theorist community. We've
Yes.
been theorizing about the prototype's plan since the very beginning of the series. For the longest time, we've believed he's building something massive, a brand new, even bigger body. In Chapter 3, we saw Catnap worshipping what appears to be a recreated version of the prototype, made up of lots of broken toy parts. And in Chapter 2, right before Mummy Longlegs died, she gave us these parting words.
The prototype took Mommy Longlegs, took Catnap.
And dragged away by the prototype. So naturally, this felt like a logical conclusion, especially given we see her arm on the shrine Catnap is using.
Dang.
This teaser, it's made me go back and reconsider this idea. We're
What?
being told that we think we know what he's doing, making this bigger body out of broken toys, but in reality, we're wrong. And I'm kind of annoyed I didn't see it sooner, because right
What
at
you
the end of
mean?
Chapter 4, we got the return of the infamous Huggy Wuggy. He's a little broken and beaten up, but he's back, and from the screenshots on Steam, looks like he's once again going to be in hot pursuit of us throughout the facility. But
Yes.
if he's back, then he's been repaired, not made to be part of this bigger machine. Which
What?
means he might not be the only one. So, what did Mummy mean by make me a part of him? Well, I wonder if it isn't so much physically making them part of him, but mentally. With all these visuals of the growth
No.
gel that seem to be branching out, it reminded me a lot of plants and funguses. And
Oh no, I said it, no.
networks, which drew me back to the note about the poppy seed intake. My research revealed that the naming convention they used for the poppy seeds doesn't really work that way, at least not.
I was saying something like mushrooms about all that, and I guess mushrooms are funguses. Oh no, no, say on God, say it ain't so. You mean Chapter 5 we're gonna be dealing the gauntlet? We're gonna be dealing with a gauntlet. No.
In a scientific
No,
setting,
don't
you
say it's a
use
gauntlet
given
match.
scientific name,
If
and
Chapter
each
5 is a
poppy have
gauntlet
different
match.
names, making them easier to identify, such as Papaver somniferum for the opium poppy. The only time you'd refer to a flower or seed with a letter-number combo like this is during experimentation contexts for things like breeding, which does make some kind of sense for this context when they need a specific strain for their experiments. But this naming convention also shows up in the world of Agrobacterium. Agrobacterium is a single-cell
Agrobacteria.
organism that lives in soil specifically. And
Okay.
there is one study I found about Agrobacterium that was found in composted poppy flowers. It's called R90, which is obviously not the same as the one we've seen in the document, but
R90.
it does use a letter number naming convention. I mean, Mob clearly didn't want it to be a real strain, lest they send the world into a panic when nerds like me come along and figure it out. But
Ha!
Agrobacterium is super interesting nonetheless. They are attracted to chemicals released by plant wounds, and once they infect the plant, they multiply. But before they even find the plant, they are able to send a chemical signal to communicate with the plant to get it to release a special sticky substance that allows the Agrobacterium to attach itself to it. Now, we're talking about toys, not plants, but they
Yeah.
are made up of a strange poppy-like concoction. So, what if this poppy gel isn't just how they make the organic parts for the toys, it's also
Hey, Doey. Hey, Braun.
a bacterium derived from the poppy flower, one that has a chemical connection to others infected with the same stuff, allowing the prototype to know exactly where they are when they're injured, as we saw with Mummy, Catnap, and Kissy, fix them up, and even control them, making them a part of him, or at least his chemical agrobacterium
Oh no.
network. But here's the thing, if that's the case, then who's next? Huggy has already been revealed, but if 1006 is gathering up old toys we've defeated and bringing them back, maybe even making them more horrifying than before,
No.
which one of the many defeated monsters could it be? My money is the one who put us
No.
on this path.
No! No, please. Have mercy.
One who put us on this path to begin with.
Oh no. We're
Yep, I believe it's going to be Mummy Longlegs, and here's why. Mob cannot let go of this character. We defeated Mummy all the way back in Chapter 2.
Yes.
Since then, she keeps showing up in other pieces of wider media. We
What?
get her appearing in artwork for things like Halloween. We see her continued presence in posters along with Daddy and Baby Longlegs. She
Okay.
even got an extra double-page spread in the orientation notebook, unlike
Dang.
and Huggy, who only got a single double spread each.
Dang!
Strange considering they're basically the faces of the franchise. But the big inclusion has been in the form of notes and VHS tapes. In the Chapter 3 ARG, we got an incident report where a girl had a mental breakdown during the night due to the red smoke. That girl was Marie Payne, who would later go on to become Mummy Longlegs. And now we've gotten a bunch more notes and VHS tapes about Marie Payne and Mummy Longlegs, thanks to, you guessed it,
Fortnite.
We have a note introducing the Longlegs family of toys. There's another about how Mummy Longlegs was introduced to Experiment 1223, a color-swapped counterpart that they compared to Huggy and Kissy, so likely Daddy Longlegs. This actually ends up going badly, and Mummy killed Daddy, with a different discussing her integration into the game station after that incident. And then we get a transcript of an interview Mummy does with an employee. She doesn't say much, except screaming that Playtime Co. took Maria from her, which feels like she's referring to herself, Marie, and how Playtime Co. robbed her of her true identity. Which goes back to the ending glitch screen from the teaser. What do I do now? Where do I belong? She has literally lost her sense of identity. Words that the scientists would have heard echoed throughout the halls. And finally, there are then 3 new VHS tapes interviewing an orphan about the game station. In her second interview, she references how she likes Mummy, and in her third, she recalls how Mummy said she'll take care of them and won't let anybody hurt them. As we've seen in the past, when a chapter is building up to release, Mob goes all out, putting emphasis on characters that will be important to that next chapter. We saw it with Catnap in Chapter 3's
with
teasers and
Fedor.
ARG. We saw it with Harley Sawyer in the teasers and ARG for Chapter 4. We were given more notes and audio logs about their backstory and character, but we never got that for Mummy Longlegs. However, we seem to be getting it now, right at the time Mob is ramping up for Chapter 5. This amount of emphasis makes me feel pretty confident that Mummy and all this extra detail about her transformation has to be important to the story we're about to see play out in Chapter 5. It could be just as simple as we're going to learn more about the operation process and understand why Mummy and Marie had such a negative reaction to the whole experience.
And to
It's
us.
because we're getting a surprise return from Mummy, just like Huggy. Maybe broken, or maybe she's been infected with more of this poppy gel, growing her into an even more horrifying monster, and making her a part of the prototype's hive mind. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. In the meantime, theorists, remember, that's just a
Great, so you mean to tell me that Chapter 5 might possibly be the gauntlet round? That we're going to be facing off against Huggy, Mommy Longlegs, Catnap. If Catnap's still alive, but let's be honest. People are loving the smiling critter, so I can basically bet Catnap's going to show up. And you mean to tell me they're going to do my boy Doey too? Even Doey? Nah, that's crazy. If we're going to be forced to deal with a gauntlet match in Chapter 5, it's GG's, okay? I don't care no more. Just do what you gotta do, Prototype. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. Never. Bro, if Chapter 5... I always thought Chapter 4 was gonna be the gauntlet round. I talked about it in my third channel. But if it's gonna be Chapter 5, then oh yeah, it's GG's for all of us. I don't know how we're gonna make it. The power of plot cannot help us on this one.
theory. A game theory.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like the video so I know you guys enjoy, and comment down below what you guys think. Honestly, I wouldn't be against Mommy Longleg coming back. I mean, like, shoot, this is like the ultimate ending of Poppy Playtime. So you might as well throw everything. You might as well throw all the best hitters right here. But I mean, like, man, if it's a gauntlet, that's it. I'm going to sit down, all right? Huggy, do your thing, man. Just do your thing. But anyways, make sure you like the video so I know you guys enjoy. Comment down below what you guys think. And make sure you subscribe to the channel because we got a lot of videos coming out. My goal is to make 100 videos before the end of the year. And I ain't gonna lie to you. We're just about to reach 60 videos. I can't exactly tell you what video this is. But all will be revealed soon enough. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, this is Juan Gamer 54 signing off.